So if you're watching this video, you might be a YouTuber who's been in the game or somebody who's thinking about starting a channel and telling your story, whatever that story may be. Whether it's a story that you are proud of or it's a story that you're a little shaky about telling. Maybe you're scared. Maybe you're afraid of what other people have to say about your story or about your journey. And you have been hesitating to come into the light and really be your full self, even though you know it's something that God has been calling you to do. Now, you're either doing it already and you want to dive deeper into it, or you still hesitating on making that first video. And if that's you, please stick around because we have a lot to talk about. The title of this video is Why Being Vulnerable Will Set You Free. And let me tell you why being vulnerable is going to set you free. When you are on this journey, everybody has their own unique life. There is nothing that anybody else is going through that is better than somebody else. It's all unique, it's all different, but we are all on the same scale, meaning we all experience the same emotions. We all experience fear, shame, regret, failure, disappointment, joy, happiness, laughter, peace, excitement, success, and failures. And because of that, that levels the playing field. That means that those emotions right there, when God put those emotions inside of everybody, he leveled the playing field for everyone. Regardless of race and ethnicity, what it all comes down to is being a human being. That means that nobody, no matter what you physically see they have, is better than the next person. So let's make that one very clear. Because if you're a person who's watching this and you're saying you want to tell your story like me, you want to be brave enough to tell your story like me. I've set out with my mother to tell my story of living in a car, dealing with homelessness, and choosing to document my story. And as a filmmaker and an artist, I believe wholly that I have a duty to tell my story. And in fact, there's a piece of me that feels uncomfortable when I'm not telling my story, when I'm isolating, and when I'm allowing pieces of myself not to be shared. Because when you do tell your story, it allows other people to grow. It allows other people to feel seen. So when we keep it to ourselves, it can oftentimes feel like unfulfillment. And so as a person who has shared their story, I have experienced backlash. I've experienced people trying to put what they think and they believe on my story, me and my mother's story, you know, and that's fine because people are going to judge you and you cannot stop that. You can't stop what another person is going to think about your story. The only thing you can control is the fact that you're living it and owning it. And so if you're watching this and you're thinking to yourself, God, I don't know how to own it, I want to let you know something. Here are a couple things that I've found that I was able to gain by telling my story. Number one, there's a piece of you that feels ashamed about who you are. You believe that there's something so unique that you yourself, that you experience that you could never own, that nobody would ever be able to see as positive or see it the way that you see it. And when you step out and you allow your story to be told, and you allow other people to uniquely see you for who you are, what happens is you begin to break that shame off of you. You start to face that fear that you once thought you could never get rid of. That shame and that fear that had you held back. Once you finally do it, you're going to start to see that it actually wasn't as bad as you thought it was going to be. You created this story in your head that somehow you telling or revealing the parts of yourself that you felt like were unworthy. You somehow told yourself that that was too much to handle, that you couldn't handle what other people had to say about you. But when you finally step out and you face that, you find that there are a lot more people who relate to you than don't. And that fear starts to dwindle just a little bit. And then you got to take that step forward so that it can keep getting smaller and smaller. Okay, so that's one thing. A second thing is when other people are shaming you and telling you that, trying to belittle your story. When you're starting to notice that people are judging you, trying to control you with their perspectives, you have a choice. You can either choose to pull back and go back into your shell, or you could choose to put your foot on that gas and go even harder and fully own who you are. Bear more of your bones to the world. Then you'll find that you're going to break out that level that you was in and you're going to go even higher. These are the things that you are able to learn when you step out on faith and own who you truly are. These things are going to change your life because, see, a lot of us are sitting here choosing to hide because at the end of the day, if I don't tell nobody what I'm really going through, that I really feel worthless, that I really feel insecure, that I've really made the wrong decisions, that I'm really not living right. If I don't ever tell nobody that, I never have to change it and I never have to fully face it. But on the other side of that, and that doesn't actually mean that you have to put it out on YouTube for public usage. It can simply just mean stepping out in that outfit that you always wanted to wear to that mall or to the movies. Stepping out and finally telling your family that secret that you felt like they would never accept. It can mean showing up to school the way that you want to show up to school, really using your voice, really, really, really honoring your own unique perspective. And that's not going to feel comfortable. See now, when you're telling your story and you owning yourself, people want to misuse that. And that can get scary because it already feels uncomfortable to be vulnerable. Being vulnerable is scary. But it doesn't matter because you have to own it. You're going to feel all the feels. Putting out your first YouTube video, you're going to feel all the feels. You're going to feel that fear. You're going to want to wait. You're going to want to push the video back. You're going to want to stay where you are. But why? Why do that when God has called you to so much more? Y'all, me and my mom, we are sharing our story about living in a car. That ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. People want to try to fix it and help, and maybe they might think that when you tell your story, you asking for somebody to pity you, or you asking for somebody to feel sorry for you. This doesn't have anything to do with them. The reason that you need to be vulnerable and show the world who you are is because this is a personal battle of you being all that you always wanted to be. So when people try to bring you down, try to make you feel like you're not where you're supposed to be, or that you're doing something wrong. You have to remember that God called you into this. That you are a unique, beautiful, personal, prophetic experience. When you came into this world, there was nobody like you. And everybody loves the baby, but what happens when that baby becomes an adult? Don't leave yourself behind trying to blend in. Because blending in, you don't get to be vulnerable. You just get to be safe, controlled, isolated. Nobody really gets to see you. But when you choose to do the thing that scares you, that's when you're really going to see some things take off in your life. You don't owe nobody an explanation. You don't owe anybody an explanation as to why you choosing to live the way that you live. You don't owe nobody an explanation about what happened in your life. Why you are where you are in life right now. What season you in. Just don't got nothing to do with those people that you got in your head. You keep living with all these people in your head. Get those folks out of your head. You say, oh, people gonna say this, people gonna say that. No, you're saying that to yourself. But you're gonna find when you step out, you do the thing that you were afraid to do, you're gonna find that people are gonna love you for it. And you're gonna find your community. Me and my mother have certainly found ours. So we don't worry about the naysayers or the people who come in and come through the door and try to check out what's going on and make a judgment based off of them peeking their head through the door. They're not involved. They're going to make a little comment and then they're going to leave. But don't let that stop you from being your best self and continuing to use your story as a catapult to change your life. But you can't have shame around it. We're not ashamed anymore. There's people out there who need to see people living boldly and confidently. And I know that's you. But you can't allow the what ifs. What are people going to say? How are people going to try to control me? You can't allow that to stop you. You just can't. You gotta do it. And I promise you, when you do it, you're gonna be like, whoo, what was I thinking about? It wasn't even really that bad. And then you're gonna take another step, and then you're gonna take another step, but wait, those people, they're gonna try to comfort you. They're gonna try to make you go back into your shell. Remember that. The further you go, the more people gonna try to come out and peek in to see what you're doing, and they don't know what's going on, but they gonna peek. They gonna try to come in and peek and see what's going on. But you gotta keep going. You gotta ignore them. Don't focus on them, cause you bearing your soul out here. You bearing your heart out here. You being vulnerable. You're trying to change your life by changing other people's lives by telling your truth. Remember that. Don't ever forget that when you go on this journey. Because people want you to remember what they think about you, what they think about what you got going on. That's what they want to be, what's in your mind, what they think about you. Meanwhile, all of a sudden, now you start forgetting what you think about yourself. Don't ever forget that. Always put that on your wall. Put that in your car. Write a little Post-it note in your car. If you feel like you want to do something that's going to scare you today, put a little Post-it note in your car that says who you really are. I'm at the top of the world today. That's what we got in our car. So we wake up every day and we see that and we remember we good. We know where we headed. So we're not going to let nobody try to put us down and make us feel like we're on YouTube for some to get other people's attention, or to because we're lazy or because we don't want to work, or no. We're being called to something higher and greater. So we don't let those things get to us. You're being called to something higher and greater. But first, you got to take the first step. Before you know it, you're gonna look around, you're gonna be like, wow, everything I always wanted is happening for me. And I didn't let what other people thought of me. I didn't let my family tear me down. I didn't allow myself to stay there. I didn't let my friends tear me down. It's your journey. And if you're watching this and you're afraid of what other people gotta say, start your own faceless channel. Start a channel that you created, that your name's not even attached to it. And find your own community. People you don't know. Stop letting certain scenarios stop you. Get you an incognito channel and start posting. And you're going to find your community. Because you chose to tell your story. Turns out people love you for it. Well, that was what I had to say. And this is KB. This is personal. And I'm out. Love you guys. Bye-bye.